Greetings, folks. T-Mot back again for another drive time. The cursing lamp is out. Govern yourselves accordingly, or else you will receive your burn notice. I was listening to Bill O'Reilly last night. Even checked out a little bit of Greta Van Susteren. I'm going to tell you something, folks. Back in the day, Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, Neil Bortz, they were my Peter, John, and James. Bill O'Reilly was my Paul. They helped me to realize that I was a conservative. O'Reilly helped me to formulate my conservative views into a coherent and understandable methodology for living. However, they have sorely disappointed me because I believe that they are now a part of the system. Last night, Oreilly said, as it relates to Ron Paul will no longer be a factor in this race. No pun intended. Well, I believe that to be a lie. I believe the pun was intended. You guys have heard me say I call a spade, pun intended, because I like to keep it real, because on those videos when I say that, I'm sick of the things that Negroes do. Well, let me jump right to this. O'Reilly made a couple of other statements, the second of which was disturbing. He said, Ron Paul has some ideas that are not mainstream, and some of them are rather frightening. And I was like, doggone, man, what? Then he said in closing, the three candidates that are in this, Santorum, Gingrich, and Perry, they're all saying the same thing, and we'll see basically how this comes out down the line. And I'm paraphrasing. They're all saying the same thing. And that is a very interesting statement. And it's a true one. They are saying the same things, but they're all still a part of the same circus. I was invited to speak at the 2012 Conservative Black Caucus. A young lady wanted me to go there and speak to the Negroes about why I supported Ron Paul. And I say, well, I have 1 hour to give, 11 to noon, and I have to go. So if they can get me up, I will be happy to speak to that. Well, I got there at 10:30. I did an interview outside with a couple of guys, and I don't remember the interviewers' names. And then I went in at 11, and I was not called up. At 11:30, I said I will give it another 15 minutes. So I went over. I'm sorry, at 12:30, I went over. So at about a quarter of, this Caucasian lady spoke, and she basically said that the reason most blacks vote Democrat is because of a deal that was made between Johnson and Martin Luther King. And of course, folks, you know me being me, I had to address that before I left. So I stood up and said I want to address that, and I basically told her that is not correct. And she's a committee on some Republican, something. And I was surprised that she would make such a statement. So I told her that, all of this came from FDR and was born out of the money that the liberal Democrats were going to give to blacks, provided they made a shift from the Republican Party to the Democratic Party. But anyway, I'm not going to get into the history of that. But in closing, I told them, I support Ron Paul. Ron Paul is the only candidate that has consistently voted along constitutional guidelines. And I say Ron Paul is the only candidate that doesn't have the baggage that many of the other candidates carry with them, and he's being ignored. And lastly, I said, you guys need to give up your allegiance to the party and look at the record of the individual. I said Ron Paul is the one that you need to start considering, because everybody that you are considering, they're just the same clowns trading places in the same circus. And I said, good luck, and I walked on out the door. So even though I was never invited up to speak, I was at least able to get that in. So where am I going with this video? There's something that we can do, and I'm going to take a page from the Bible, and I'm going to see who's going to do what. I am going to put together a statement in the info box, so you'll have to go there and read it. Now, I saved this for the end of the video because I know most morons aren't going to get this far, because they aren't going to listen to the video. They're going to see the title and they're going to make some comment, and even Ron Paul's supporters will not get to the end of the video because they're going to be doing their thing. But if you got to this point of the video, pay attention. At least 1,000 people will listen to this video, or it will get at least 1,000 hits. All I want are 100 people, 100, to march around the world 7 days, one time a day. What do you need to do? I want you to take this video. I have a video that has hit the 100,000 viewer mark. Essentially, they call that going viral. I am not interested in promoting me, but we need to send a message. And what I want you to do, I'm placing 4 emails in the info box. Bill O'Reilly, Greta Van Susteren. Why her? Because she gave Newt Gingrich a whole day, giving him an opportunity to explain where he's coming from without interruption. I'm going to put Sean Hannity, and I'm going to put let's see, Bill O'Reilly, Sean Hannity, Greta Van Susteren, and Rush Limbaugh. Those 4 email addresses will be in the info box. I want 100 people to send this video, and whatever title you want to put in the subject line, because we want them to be different, but with the essence of the same content that I'm going to put in the email, in the body of the info box, for the body of the email, which will read something like this. We, the people of America, challenge you to give Ron Paul 30 minutes. Give him an hour, would even be better, to explain who he is and show the American people that he is not frightening, and explain why he believes what he believes. We don't want the mainstream media telling us who is no longer a factor. We determine that, not you. And that is what has been happening. Of course, these words won't be that long, folk, but you'll get the gist of where I'm coming from. So do us a favor. Give Ron Paul that 30 minutes or that 1 hour. Let him speak and let us decide. Stop. Which one of you 4 have the balls as big as Ron Paul, the size of a pachyderm, to stand up against the establishment, the corporations that you work for, that pay your salary, and allow Ron Paul to speak so that we can see? Because Ron Paul does not have the baggage that Newt Gingrich has. He is not one who cheats on his wife while she's on a deathbed. He is not one who flip-flops to appease those that would vote for him or not vote for him for whatever position he decided to take. And he is not bloodlustful. He is not saying, let us create confusion on the streets of Iran to break them. Reminds me of the woman of bitchy behavior who sleeps with a man and then lets the wife know, so as in order to break up the marriage so that she can end up with the man. She gets what she deserves, nothing, because she was just a piece on the side, and he loses his wife because he was dumb enough to sleep with a tramp. Yeah, anyway, that's a whole nother story. So, folks, I just need 100 people. Now, if we get more than that, fine. But you know what? I will be the first to step out. Now, I am no leader. Stop. You ain't got to tell me that. I'm no leader. I'm not trying to lead anybody. I am just one individual that is willing to take the first step. I'm willing to make the first move. You will determine whether or not this is the shot heard around the world. I'm not looking to go on either of those shows. I want to see Ron Paul get an opportunity to speak to the American people. Let us challenge the media to give him that opportunity. We may not succeed, but let it not be because we did not try. Share this video with everyone you know and send this email once a day to all four for the next 7 days. Let us send a message. Let's see who will stand. T-Mot out. Till next time.